I would have been 2, 4, 5, 6.
State of the Say returns with Metal Gear Solid 4, our first game of the Game Club return. Michael, we are back with 2026. We're here to talk about old video games, new video games, all sorts of video games. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very ready to talk more about video games. I missed this podcast after being away from it for a little bit.
It's always fun to also get back to this Game Club style. We tried something new. I think it was a good idea for a while, but I think the Game Club is our bread and butter, so let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to what the people want, which is me and you talking about old video games.
One specific video game for about a month at a time.
Yes. Metal Gear Solid 4 will be our first game of the year and our first game back. Been a hell of a ride. You always are in for a good time with a Kojima game. And you're always there's always something to talk about. You know, some video games we do was like, there's times where I'm like, I don't know if there's enough content here for a good quality podcast.
And then you play Metal Gear and go, there's too much to talk about.
I feel like at this point I'm making a documentary. We have a long history with Metal Gear Solid. We played 1, 2, and 3 already for the show. So this is us finishing the grand epic. Michael, I've been in a Metal Gear Solid mood. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid Delta over the holidays. And so I really am excited about this today. I think it's going to be a great show. Let's do a real quick touch up on what we've been playing over the holiday break before we jump in. Michael, what you been playing over the holiday break?
Yesterday, I rolled credits on Death Stranding 2.
Which is very fitting for this time
period. Yes, only one set of credits in Death Stranding 2 compared to the first game's 3 sets of credits. I'll be really quick. Death Stranding 2 is very good. It sort of oversands some of the rough edges of Death Stranding 1, but where I think it makes up for it and is ultimately a better game is twofold. One, the game doesn't get in the way of having fun. There's so much fun traversal stuff in this game. And two, the story doesn't get in the way. In fact, both of those concepts sort of build on each other for what is probably the most ridiculous finale I've ever seen in a game. I asked you if you wanted to see some spoilers, and I sent you a 30-second clip of the final fight of that game.
There's no context for that for me, and I was like, I don't even know if context would actually help or not.
It does.
Okay, I trust you.
40 hours of build-up. It was funny being beside my wife near the end game of that thing, because she looked up and go, what is happening? I'm like, ordinarily I would explain. I'm like, I can't. I'm just... I can't explain why there's a dancing mannequin in the middle of the afterlife. I can't do it. I can't do that while we're here.
That's what I want in the afterlife is dancing mannequins. I feel like it's very ironic that we're both playing Kojima games around the time that we started this, because I've been playing Metal Gear Solid Delta. So it's like we've been in this mindset, and then we step into the most Kojima game of all Kojima games.
This is the most Kojima game.
Anything else you've been playing this holiday?
There's one I want to touch on briefly, because it was one... Well, I got some PlayStation gift cards for Christmas. You gave me a PlayStation gift card for Christmas with a pure stipulation. You better use this to buy Clear Obscure Expedition 33.
This gift card was given, but there was no options in what you were going to buy. You were told.
So I got Expedition 33, which I started yesterday. I'm not going to talk about my time with Expedition 33 until I'm done with that game.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. You've already... heard him. If you listen to other gaming podcasts, you've already heard way too much about Expedition 33.
Listen to this gaming podcast.
So I used it to grab a game I was sort of interested in that was on sale. A game called Shadows of Doubt. It is a completely procedurally generated detective game where it generates a city and generates all of the citizens of that city. And then crimes will sort of happen, and you play as a private detective who's trying to solve all these things. It is an independent game made wholly designed by one person, but of course that usually means he has different other people come in, but like this was a one-person vision to this. It is the most broken thing I have played, but I can't help but love it because it's the most beautifully designed house of cards you have ever seen, while in a room full of fans. Is how I will describe it.
It's falling apart in beautiful ways.
I will describe two things that one thing that works brilliantly and one thing that broke on me really, really fast. I had a detective mystery wrap up where I need one more piece of evidence to like pin this guy, and I was sure of it. I broke into his apartment, got the last piece of evidence I needed to like fully frame the guy. He comes home. We get into a fist fight in the middle of the stairwell where I knock him out and then handcuff him. And I was like, I need to go back there and try to find like the murder weapon. His partner wakes up from the fight and starts shooting at me with the murder weapon. So I got everything I need. I was like, I can't fight fists to gun, so I'm just going to get out of there. I turned the case in and won it. So that was like a really cool emergent storytelling. Me finally finding this guy where he lives and arresting him. But then like not quite getting all the evidence to get like a full like high score on it because this partner was shooting me with the murder weapon. I was like, that's so good. And then the other time where it all broke was I had a series of like serial killings that I had to back out of the case because I wasn't just getting enough. All the evidence was randomized. I wasn't getting enough evidence that like to connect all the pieces. And then after I did that, murder cases weren't just popping up anymore, and the dead bodies were still in the streets. I'm just like, that's not supposed to happen. Like, it's supposed to like constantly generate new cases. So I just had it stop working on me.
It's one of those things where it's like, that's the issue with that kind of technology, right? That when it walks amazing. But when it does it just falls apart. And I am not going to lie. I generally feel like my experience with those kind of games is that it doesn't work most of the time. So I generally do not like it. But I am glad to hear that from what it sounds like, when it does come together, it comes together in like a really cool, fun mess.
Exactly. Shadows of Doubt is also, you'll probably have a better time on the PC. They just launched Steam Workshop support on that platform. So that'll probably go a lot better when you have like a whole community coming together to kind of build stuff up, making their own like, probably making like maps and everything with like pure visions behind them instead of just a randomly generated mess coming on top of each other, which is beautiful in its own way.
I did not play a lot of fun little indie titles this holiday. I played Battlefield 6, and that was mostly what I played.
I mean, listen.
I wanted to play that in Delta before the end of the year just so I could knock off pretty much everything I wanted to play from last year. I don't know why that matters to me, but it mattered. I don't know. It made the little part of my brain feel good that I got everything in.
You're in burn 2025 to the ground mode, so anything you started in 2025 you want to leave in that previous year.
2025 is the year that does not exist. I fucking hate that year. It's the worst. But Battlefield 6 is amazing. That game is the best Battlefield that's come out since probably Battlefield 1. The awesome thing about that campaign, so I played the campaign, which I think is fine. It's a fine little campaign. But right when that campaign ends, they give you the option to deinstall that campaign. They're like, hey, man, you want this back?
On the menu?
Yes. Like, when the credits roll, they're like, hey, you want to deinstall this? And I was like, yeah, I do, actually. I would never play this again.
That
and you just
kind of rules, actually.
It's super convenient. They're like, we know this is not the main thing you're here for. Play it once, hit the button to deinstall it, never play it again, go back to playing multiplayer.
How long was it? 3.5, 4 hours?
It's 3.5, 4 hours. It's a
okay.
It's a big action movie like The Rock kind of feel. Does it tell a emergent, beautiful story? Fuck no. It's about jumping out of airplanes and blowing stuff up with tanks. And you know what? That's fun. I wanted to do that. But being able to deinstall it at the end of the campaign, very convenient. Thank you. That multiplayer was amazing. It feels good. They did everything I wanted to happen in a Battlefield game. They fixed a lot of like long-term problems. And all in all, I'm happy with Battlefield where it's at right now. Metal Gear Solid Delta, I just finished the fight with the end. Pretty deep into that. That is a amazing remaster of Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah, it's just good. It's just fun. It looks great. It feels and plays really good. It feels and plays in a way that allows you to play the game without having to fight it. That's always my problem with Metal Gear Solid 3 is I fault the controls the whole time. You don't have to do that anymore, and that's great. It's just two amazing video games. It was a great way to end out the video game year. I got everything I needed in to last year. That's great. 2025 can go jump off a cliff, and now we're in 2026. Yeah. So new video games, new podcasts, new shenanigans. But yeah, all in all, good way to end the video game year. Also played the Bluey game a lot because I had my kids for a whole week. I had to keep them entertained, so we played the Bluey game a lot.
How is the Bluey game?
Shockingly pretty good. It's a fine quality children's game.
Tell me about Keepy Uppy.
You play Keepy Uppy. You just keep the balloon from touching the ground. That game, perfectly fine game to play with your children. But yeah, I did a lot of that too. That was fun. But yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah,
because there's so much to talk about.
No 30 minutes of preamble on this one.
No.
Because we're not Metal Gear Solid 4.
No. Jesus. So, Michael, you've played this before.
Yes, this is my third time playing this game all the way through. I realized on the last show we did, I said something weird. I said, I'll be so happy to see this through. And I listened back to that and was like, what am I talking about? I played this game twice. Did I mean like as a group we're seeing this through? I must be, because the way I said it, I was like, I played this game before.
Then we had some Bacardi with eggnog on that show, Michael. You
was
might
that the one?
You might have been feeling it a little bit. No, I mean, I think. So the fun part is, I have played all the way up to the ending of this stopping point before,
but not much further, right?
Not much further.
Okay,
but I had no context. So I bought this game when it came out because at that time I had unlimited access to money and a lot of time on my hands and just bought every video game that was a big game that came out.
That's the best time in your life when you don't have all the responsibilities yet, but you have a part-time job so you can buy video games.
I had a 4-time job. It was great. I had a 4-time job and no responsibilities. Boy, that was nice. A bunch of other things about that part of life was nice too. But I really, I've only played maybe a couple hours of it back then. I had no context for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. And that was a hell of a way to jump into it.
I can't imagine playing this with no other context.
I had no clue what was going on. And then COVID happened. And I had a bunch of time on my hands then. And I busted this thing out. And I played up through where we stopped here. With no more context, no context at all. And so now it has been playing it like a completely different experience now. I am, actually understanding who all these connections are and what the hell is happening. As much as you understand in a Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
But
barring the Kojima-ness of this.
The Kojima-ness of this. But this is Michael, this Metal Gear Solid 4 is not even...
Yeah.
On the weird factor, it's so much farther down that path than Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, or 3.
Which is crazy because 2 is like what you would think is like the peak weirdness of this series. 2 is the, it's the fake out with Raiden. It's the weird Patriots stuff at the end. It's all that stuff. None of this is as weird as this is. And it's not necessarily weird from like being a Metal Gear fan, it doesn't seem that weird from like a story context standpoint. This is weird in like the context of how you structure a video game.
I'm gonna say this, and we'll get into this as we go through the game, but the story and what is happening is actually not that weird in like a Metal Gear Solid scale.
One would say it's less weird now than when it came out.
Yeah, one would say that Kojima is a prophet. But what's weird is the presentation of this video game. Like how this game goes about presenting its world, how it presents itself. It's so self-referential that it's almost, like I would say it's not masturbatory because I feel like it's almost like it has to be self-referential just to wrap up all the threads that have been put out there over the past 3 games. Or 5 games, because some of this talks about fucking Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2. I mean,
and Metal Gear Solid has never been a stranger for referencing itself, but most of the referencing has been in the context of like gameplay referencing gameplay, like the famous torture sequence, the little prologue and everything before you get to like the main, like the big meat of the game, the infiltration section before you go into like the big larger area and everything.
Yeah,
they've always been Metal Gear Solid as a trilogy have very similar structures, and it like rhymes and repeats. Where some of the story aspects of like even Metal Gear Solid 2, there were aspects of Metal Gear Solid 1 that it was not interested in. Like what happened to Meryl? Metal Gear Solid 2 is not interested in that because it's not part of the story. Metal Gear Solid 4 is interested in every single thing that has ever happened in Metal Gear Solid ever.
It has to. Well, in some ways, right? You're right. Metal Gear Solid, which is, I still stand, is my favorite of the trilogy, doesn't get brought up a lot in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, Meryl doesn't get talked about much. Like, Snake is there, Otacon's there, all that stuff. But then there's, like, Naomi is kind of a hanging plot thread that doesn't get resolved in 2. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of left behind because the story of 2 is more focused on what's going on with Raiden.
Yeah, and when
Rose,
it does connect
like
to Metal Gear Solid 1, it's on the context of the gameplay. Everything you did was a copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 because it was about making Raiden the character that he was going to be.
Well, it's also like Raiden's story of him becoming the hero that, you know, he's learning and going through the same, you know, a series of events that Snake went through to become the hero he becomes.
It was interesting in Metal Gear Solid 1 from like a completely metatextual perspective,
Exactly.
not like a biblical text perspective.
Also, in a weird way, it does kind of make sense that it doesn't go super deep into Metal Gear Solid 1's events because you're playing as Raiden and Raiden wasn't there. Like, Raiden doesn't have a connection to what happened at Shadow of Moses. So Raiden kind of only having like a vague, you know, every once in a while touching on things from Metal Gear Solid 1.
He played it in VR, which is like how we experienced it.
Yeah, he doesn't, but that's not Raiden's tale, right?
Yeah.
This is the return of you know, Solid Snake and his story. And so because he was a part of the events of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid, he's going to have to touch on all of that. And, you know, all these plot threads are going to start having to come home. And right now, we haven't dealt with a ton of stuff from Metal Gear Solid 3, but we're starting to hear things about, like, they're looking for the body of the boss and stuff like that. So I imagine we're about to start getting into some more stuff that might reference the events of Metal Gear Solid 3. But the big thing is about this is just the presentation of this game is so much different than the other ones. Like, the use of live action content throughout it. These like TV ads, of the different mercenary groups and stuff.
Yeah.
The way the codecs work. It's like the Kodak, not the Kodak.
Kodak.
The Kodak. You know, we're taking photos, everybody. We're going back to film.
Yeah, the codec's there, but it's not like as important as. There's like
I use it very little.
Yeah, and there's like animated style cutscene where it's presenting information almost like a PowerPoint presentation, and those sort of take the place of like the codec.
Yeah, because before you call it all the time.
Yeah,
like all the time in 1 and 2 and 3, you're always having to bust that thing out to talk to people about, like, you know, what's going on. Even the way you save in this game. You don't call a frequency to save, you just save. Like, the things are different than they were in the other ones. Even, the, you know, gameplay-wise, it's really fascinating to play this beside Delta because you're starting to see what would, like, get kind of perfected in, like, Metal Gear Solid 5 with the combat. Shooting becomes a little bit more easy. Snake, you can transition from the different like stealth positions and stuff a little bit more smoother than you can in Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. So like you're starting to see that come along, but it's not isn't it a post Grand Theft Auto 4 world? Where Grand Theft Auto 4 was like,
this is how you make a third-person action game, and then everyone else kind of sort of did that.
I think it is a post GTA 4.
Got it.
Word. But like, there's even little weird things. Like when you move around and like you pick up bodies, like drag bodies, you have to go to a standing position to pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like things are so like they require a series of events constantly. This is something I talk about a lot with like how I feel Delta's improved things. Is I don't feel like I'm having to knock off a checklist on how to do something. I can just kind of contextually do it. 4 hasn't quite got there yet, but you're starting to see bits and pieces of it.
It's like 80% how you want to do it. Where I found where they still had a lot of stuff left to like smooth over is CQC and hand-to-hand combat in general. Choking out a dude, I never know if it's going to work. Have you tried choking out a dude? Where you're just like standing there and you're like moving and I'm like tapping buttons. I'm like, how do I knock this guy out? And eventually he just goes to sleep with like 2 spinning stars over his head. I guess I did it.
Sometimes I go to choke him and I just throw him down. Sometimes I go to choke him and he lets him go. I don't like the CQC at all. I feel like it's a downgrade from 3.
It is. You have less options from CQC at 3, which I guess because you're Snake and not Big Boss. You're Solid Snake and not Big Boss. Big Boss was like the progenitor of CQC and like formed CQC. But I'm like, Snake would know all that technique. Snake knows how to do it, but it's so difficult to pull it off sometimes, especially because I feel like the enemies in this game are vastly more aware than they are in other Metal Gear games. They spot you from some pretty good distances, and they hear everything. They're so good at hearing. The Solid Eye does a lot to like sort of present that sound information. There is a good decent amount of information that the game presents to you, the player. Not having like the multiple camera angles that you have in the HD version or the re-release of Metal Gear Solid 3 with Subsistence, where you can go from the behind the back camera angles to the overhead camera angles. The re-releases of 3 present you with so much information that you can be a stealth god in that game if you know what you're doing. Yeah. In Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm getting spotted a lot to the point where it's much smoother to go through this game playing it more as an action game than as a stealth game. I feel bad about that because at first, like playing it beside Delta, I play it as like I do mostly non-lethal and quiet. And the only time I go loud is if the game has kind of put me in the spot where it makes sense to go loud. And like a lot of times if I get seen, I just restart the checkpoint. Yeah. In this, I'm getting seen all the time, so I'm getting real comfortable with just popping fools. And you know what? Like, I'm kind of like, in my mind, Snake's old and he's kind of sick of this shit. He's just like, bam. He's just dropping guys. And you know what? The actual gunplay of this game feels so good. Being able to move in first-person mode just feels so good. Like, being able to, like, pop yourself around corners and shooting and everything. Also, you access 2 guns because of the way the purchasing and the unlocking of guns is. I have an M60 right now, and that solves a lot of problems. Turns out, M60s solve problems. I found myself like going to a bunch of submachine guns and the sniper rifle are tend to be my go-to. Being able to be that far back and have them not even come to me on a large distance battlefield just feels so good. And like some of like that feeds into like some of the more like gameplay focused stuff. Did you notice there's like sort of like a mild faction system going on in this game where if you kill a certain enough of another faction, the other faction will be happy to see you. Yeah. And both times I had the rebels in Act 1 and Act 2 being like, oh, he's here. This is cool. This is great. Like they didn't care that I was on the battlefield anymore. In Act 1, the rebels generally just kind of ignored me because I kind of dodged everybody. In Act 2, I killed several of the mercs and rescued rebels, and therefore the rebels eventually by like the part where you're like sieging the big compound at the end of Act 2, they were just like cool that I was there, which made the stealth so much easier because I didn't have to dodge any of them. And I was going by them, so as they were gunning down mercs, and I'm like, okay, I've sided with somebody, and that's
that stuff's all really cool, and it plays well into the theme of like a war economy and stuff like that.
I wish there was more of that, because outside of, if I remember right, outside of these first 2 acts, that kind of sort of just goes away.
Yeah. It does also, a lot of this is sneaking in major battles, and so you need some side to not shoot you on sight, because sometimes it is overwhelming to have like both sides of a conflict wanting to kill you. It's kind of nice to be like, well, this side I'm kind of allied with, and they're not going to mind the fact that I'm, sneaking up behind stuff. As long as I'm not fucking with them, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so there's a lot of times like that where I felt like, hey, I'm cool with this. Especially because in Act 1 you can get the costume back in like the underground bunker area. And you can just wear that around the rebels, and the rebels won't bother you. Did you do that at all?
I did not do that.
Yeah, inside the underground bunker area, one of the offshoot rooms, it's past the room where all their wounded are. This is when you get the solid eye to use night vision.
Right.
There was a costume in there. This the costume from the beginning of the game. And if you put that on, you can just run right past rebels.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
I grabbed that at the beginning, and that made it kind of cool, because at that point I wasn't quite allied with anybody, and so I was just wearing that around, because I don't really feel like the octo camera really helps me a lot.
I like it in principle, not necessarily practice.
Yeah,
because like the minute you when you're crawling and the minute you stop, it'll like go neutral for a second and then change. Even if you're like mostly in that camo range, it'll still want to I wish it was like a like an R3 press to like
you can make it
that.
manual.
You can?
Yes. So if you go to the costumes, and you click on the octo camo, there's an option for auto and there's an option for manual.
Oh, that fixes that problem.
I haven't done it in manual. I've only done it in auto, but there is an option for manual.
Okay.
I don't know what that does though. I haven't done it. I've just been using the auto. And genuinely, I kind of like get in like the ground area that looks like most of the environment, turn into that, and then just kind of operate in that most of the time.
I love the slow crawl Snake does when you barely move forward the control stick, where you won't make the camo get down. He's just moving very slowly. That like slow, like
it's like
snake-like crawl.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. Listen, animation wise, beautiful.
Oh yeah,
beautiful. Let's jump into this because it's time to let's talk about some stuff here. Right off the bat, we get all these commercials that at first was very jarring to me because I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, what's going on? But they're basically inward commercials for products and mercenary groups that are in the the current universe of Metal Gear Solid, and they're actually kind of cool, and they're pretty funny.
They're really fun to listen to. So this was like, I believe, the North American studio that handled all of these like in house, and it's the opening to Watchmen,
yes,
where it's setting the tone of this world that has sort of fell into like war machine consumerism, and showing what that looks like from the TV perspective. How like there's like cooking in a bomb shelter. How do we do that? And like there's like war themed game show. Everything is all about war and the like the whole war machine.
There
like,
is it's the
military industrial complex.
It's the operator bro thing. You know how you have guys now who are like entire influencers that just kind of like, this is my carry pack. This is what I carry all day. This is how I, this, that, and the other. And like, it's the commodity around warfare. And that's something that Kojima kind of hit the nail on the head, because that's something that's grown only since this game came out. Where it's like warfare is just kind of built into society at this point. Like even these mercenary groups, like all their, commercials and stuff are basically like advertisements for like trying to vary out who's going to sign up. Like
and they all have they all have different moods and different themes. But like, see, all of these the TV shows go into a commercial for one of the big 4 mercenary groups that we learned from the intro. That Liquid is that Liquid's like startup Outer Heaven is behind the whole thing and owns all these groups and everything. And they have different vibes. You have one that's like more like beautifully set, like it's like these two figures like almost like dancing in the sky, just like shooting a bunch of stuff. You have some that look like, you have one that looks like a energy drink commercial type thing with like the big like neon lights and everything. I think there's like the octopus one or something.
The octopus one has like sexy ladies fighting with octopuses grabbing them. There's like one that looks like a Matrix movie where a guy's like being chased by like mechanical praying mantis on a motorcycle. It's a cool concept, and like this is something that they really played around with a lot in this game, is the different kind of like way things are presented to you in Ward. Couple of things right off the bat. We'll kind of hit with right off the front that I'm kind of getting now into the actual like meat and potatoes of the story. We're hit right off the bat that Snake has been aged. We get the old man Snake stuff, which I do not believe is referenced at all in anything up to this point.
All we know is that because none of the clones have lived long enough to see, even Naomi, when we meet her, had to do like a ton of testing and everything to figure out what was going on with that.
Because at first it's like no one knows why he's aged. It's not till Naomi tells us that it's because the clones were not meant to last that long.
And we think, oh, it's the Fox Eye. They're like, oh, this is completely separate from Fox Eye. Like this is something that was built into like,
it's like a failsafe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Snake is relatively like, I take Snake, it's supposed to be in his like 40s at most.
He was like in his 30s at
Shadow Moses,
and it's been 9 years since then, so he's like early 40s.
And I think that's something also that keeps messing with me is I keep forgetting that Snake it's only been 9 years since Shadow Moses. Because I'm like, man, no one else is aged. What's Campbell doing here still alive? Look how long it's been. I was like, oh, it's 9 years. So the old man Snake thing still messes with me too. I'm like, why is everyone else still so young?
And I like that they said he's like aging so rapidly that like Snake is visibly older even from like when we started the game. Like, yeah. Even going into the second act, like they said, you have 6 months to live before your body completely shuts down.
He's aging like
he's aged
months in a day.
And Naomi points out that he's like aged out. Like if he didn't have a good body, he would be dead by now.
Yeah, he's basically hanging on to the fact that he was in the shape he was before, you know? And also it plays well off of a lot of different themes that I think ring very true to me now that didn't when I first played this game. I played this game back when I was in my, I guess, teens. Now as an older man, you know, and I'm not Snake's age, but, you know, there is something so kind of like poetic, this realization that Snake is like coming to the realization that this is over. Like he's dying. Even at the beginning of the game when we see him in the graveyard, the cemetery, which I'm assuming he's in front of the grave of Big Boss.
I think we'll find out later on that is Big Boss's grave, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that as the case. But you know, there's this realization this is ending quickly. Snake's dying. We are picked up by Campbell, and Campbell has basically said, hey, listen, we finally located Liquid. He's in the Middle East. We need you to go. You're basically sent as an assassination mission to kill Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Which Liquid's kind of been on the back burner since the events of 2, right? I'm assuming after 2, when we have the reveal that Liquid's taken over Ocelot, that he's just been gone. Like he's
been working in the shadows to
purchase these mercenary groups.
Make this LLC to buy a bunch of
Out of Heaven 2.0. So Snake is given that task. He's like, listen, you're going in, you're going to go kill Liquid, basically. We get a massive information dump on kind of how the state of the ward operates now.
Especially if you watch like the briefing for Act 1, that's where a lot of the opening of Act 1. But what frustrates me is that they're not together. If you want the full picture of even why Snake is on the mission, you need to watch the briefing. Because like, as I kind of teased before, when you meet Meryl in Act 1
he lies.
And everything, he lies. He's like, oh, I'm working with the UN. He says it so matter of fact. He's like, oh, you must be the UN contact. We're like, yeah. And Snake's like, yeah.
Yeah, Snake doesn't
Which is
mention...
a bold-faced lie if you watch the briefings.
Well, Meryl does eventually figure it out.
Yeah,
because she does, like, at one point, she's like, "You're not here for the UN, you're here for Liquid."
Yeah.
And, like, so, like, Meryl's not an idiot.
Of course not, yeah.
But, yeah, Snake lies. He's like, "I'm with the UN."
Essentially like, oh, Campbell's behind this, dang it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Campbell's been up to shenanigans, too. We'll get into that.
We'll get into.
Campbell just... Whatever, Campbell. Go on, boy. You know, the whole thing with Snake going in to kill Liquid, you know, it's basically kind of pitched to him as like, this is your last hurrah. We need you to do this before you're the only man to do it, right? Story of Snake's life.
And I like that there's a whole like theme of like they're operating outside the UN because there's a question of if you kill Liquid and bring down this entire war machine, what does that mean for the world? The world is so, and the economy, literally the war economy, is so integrated into this system. What happens when that's gone?
Because Liquid owns enough of it to basically...
He has a monopoly of the main systems.
Yeah,
they said there's hundreds of them, but there's the big five that operate in the big areas, and Liquid owns all of them.
I think also one thing that's really interesting, you know, Kojima's always been fascinated by like the military-industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
And like Kojima is interesting to me, and I've had the chance to meet a lot of people who are like fans of Metal Gear that are also like military veterans. Like a lot of these guys are like it appeals to a lot of people who are like vets and stuff, because I think Kojima really is more interested into the concepts of what goes on into war, the more like the things that changes people, how it affects human beings.
Literally the bosses of Metal Gear Solid 3 were the emotions that you carry into battle.
He's more into that than like the reasons the war happens.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know what's going on like on a geopolitical point of view on what's going on in this war in the Middle East. That's not the reason he's interested in. He's interested in like what affects the population, what affects people when they deal with this stuff. And this whole... Also, the timing of this is very interesting. We are also in the middle of, at this time, when this game comes out, like, deep into Iraq, Afghanistan. Like, you know, the military-industrial complex is really flying full speed ahead. Not like that's happening now. We don't know anything about that.
No, of course.
What a crazy time. I remember seeing this whole opening at E3 when this game was first shown off. This whole sequence of Snake coming in on the trucks with the rebels.
The famous "War has changed" speech.
Yeah, the war has
such
changed.
A good speech.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh man.
He does such a great job. Also, the voice is so.
This is David Hayter's best performance. As Snake.
Amazing.
It's
because
so
he's not
good.
just doing Snake. He's doing Snake drastically unhealthy, aged. Like it feels like it hurts for him to talk.
He's dying on like an emotional, like psychological level and as a physical level, which psychology is a big theme of this game. There's that little psych meter and everything.
Yeah.
Managing your mental health is like a key component to like the gameplay and how much damage you take in this game and everything. And he channels that in his voice so effectively that every time he speaks, you just feel for him. There's not sorry for him. You're just like, you've gone through so much, man.
I know that
you don't have to keep fighting anymore, man. It's okay.
I know that Snake is aged because of the clone process and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, it's a good opportunity to explore. Snake feels like a man out of time. So, like, you know, there's even conversations. Like, Snake doesn't have the brand new nano machines like everyone else does.
Oh, well, that's one on the nanomachine tally for this podcast.
You want to get fucked up. Just take a sip. Take a sip every time they mention nanomachine.
I've been keeping a tally of any time I heard the word nanomachine of this game. Should I give that tally now?
Hit me with the tally.
All right. For Acts 1 and 2, we've had nanomachines have been brought up in standard cutscenes a total of 35 times.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But like, because of him being old, it really helps him play off those themes. So Snake just feels like the Ward and war itself has passed him by.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't recognize war anymore. He doesn't recognize why people are doing this anymore. Like, you know, when he fought in his prime, it was for ideological reasons. It was for country. It was for the better good. You know, that's something that's talked about a lot in Metal Gear Solid 2. Snake is in 2 fighting for the greater good. He's trying to bring down Metal Gear and stop nuclear proliferation and all this stuff. And Snake is like, this has passed him by. Like, he doesn't quite even understand what he's looking at anymore. But this whole sequence of him coming in with the rebels, and you see like how powerful like these mercenary groups are. Like, these other dudes look like a traditional like rebel group, right? And they just get their asses kicked because Liquid's got access to the brand new drone technology. All of his soldiers are interlinked with the nanomachines, so their emotions are managed. They are calm at all times. They've got the geckos are introduced, which are these big bipedal mechs
that moo.
They got like long, like luxurious legs
Big
apparently.
beefy legs on those things.
Beefy legs. Been doing a lot of squats. But this whole sequence is what I remember. This was my first introduction to this game when it was shown at E3. And I remember watching this thinking this was the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. This whole sequence of Snake sneaking through, and then the reveal of the Octo Camo suit when he first uses it and they step on the box and crush the watermelons, and Snake in the one piece rolls over and hits his leg and it changes to the watermelon color on his thigh. It's just such a cool sequence. It feels so fun. I love this opening sequence. This is one of the best opening sequences in the franchise.
It's so good. Everything that's great and frustrating about this game as a whole is in this. Like, I go to the scene where we're done with the like opening and it cuts to gameplay for the first time. And it like zooms out and everything goes in. You're like, here we go. I'm finally going to start playing the game. You hit X, you crawl under, and now you're in a cutscene. Literally, I'm not going to get too bogged down in this discussion about the pacing of this game because we'll be here all day. This is a frustratingly paced video game.
Yes.
From a playing it standpoint, I don't mind long cutscenes. I love Metal Gear Solid, but there's a point where the cutscenes like interfere with the fun of the game, and Metal Gear Solid 4 is Achilles heel. Everyone jokes about it. Like, my favorite movie is Metal Gear Solid 4. It's a big sticking point of this game, and there's no like separating itself from that. That's what this game is. And
Kojima has a bunch of images in his head of these sequences. Because I think Kojima at his heart is more of a storyteller that's more prone to love film. We know he loves movies than he probably even is from the gameplay point of view, right?
But I don't even know if that's true, because like some of the stuff, but like with Metal Gear Solid 2, the best moments and where that shined was when when the story was being driven by the gameplay and not necessarily the cutscenes. So
you're right.
This is a frustrating game to dissect because you'll go crazy trying to figure out why things are the way they are here in the context of like the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
You're 100% right. And I even take that back right when I said it. Then I started thinking of all these sequences that are like so tied to the video game media that you couldn't do them in any other way. Like the torture sequences in Metal Gear Solid, or the
Sorrow fight where you're like walking down the river.
The Sorrow fight, or like hell, any of the boss fights. Like even the boss fight in this first section, like it's tied to what video games are. So I right when I said it, even in my head, I was like contradicting myself. You are right. The pacing is questionable.
But in the end, this is a game that that contradicts itself from like its philosophy standpoints. We're only in the first third.
Yes.
Gear up. There's a lot more coming.
This whole sequence, a lot of this is introducing the war. We're getting concepts of the war economy. We know that we're meeting up with a UN inspector team that's going to give us more information about where Liquid's at. We'll introduce to concepts and gameplay mechanics like the Octo Camo, like our little portable Metal Gear that Otacon's manning and kind of being he's observing through.
The little tiny Metal Gear thing, the Mark 2.
He's great.
I love the Mark 2.
He's an R2D2 of this, basically.
I like his little wave when he just like takes those little camcorder screen and just goes.
Otacon also vastly better. Man, he is so annoying in Metal Gear Solid. And in 2, they start to pull him back a little bit.
And then you get that trauma dump at the end of the game, which
you blows it. You're like, I was rooting for you, man. Here, most of the time, he's pretty good. And I'm like, I'm hoping he don't blow that at the end too. But so far he's been manageable.
Him and Snake are an old married couple.
Yes.
And it is great.
Just a gay couple living their life, having a great time, stopping Metal Gears.
With their adopted daughter and everything.
Yeah, their adopted daughter.
Oh, God.
Sunny, who I forgot about who Sunny was until I realized that.
Because she has the picture of Olga.
She's Olga's daughter. All this stuff. And, we get some information that, Raiden helped track her down after the events of Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, we get some information later on in the game about where Sunny kind of comes from. I'm assuming we'll get more information later on in the game.
I love Sunny. She gives, like, so much heart and everything to, like, this game. And, like, is not necessarily our outsider looking in, but she's saying stuff like, why are you keep smoking, Snake? I love that she points to that. This is a no smoking flight.
I like also her voice actress a lot because she has like almost like a speech impediment, which I feel for, and also like I like how it's just a really good voice like performance because it doesn't feel like a parody. It feels like a legitimate way that her cadence is.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that a lot.
I like that she plays like the trope of like the super intelligent kid, but she's around like Otacon and this like, of course she would be like super like tech savvy and smart and everything.
But she's also it's like she was raised, or she's been living around a genius and like kind of a hard person who's very driven in Snake. So she's gonna be a little bit exceptional.
Yeah.
It would be weirder if she wasn't exceptional.
But like she has the moments where she does act like a kid, like the whole oh yeah, they're delicious. You didn't eat your eggs though.
Which is such a kid thing.
They're smart, they'll catch you
so
on
smart
things.
and they will call you out on it. Like, no, you haven't even eaten them yet. Eat them.
Well, they just look
Let me see them. Let me watch you eat them and make sure you like them. This whole opening sequence in leading up to the meeting with Meryl, it's mostly, conversations about the war economy, conversations about, what's going on the grand scale. We're introduced to Drebin.
I love Drebin.
Drebin's great. He's got a monkey who drinks soda and wants to smoke cigarettes, and Drebin won't let him.
In a diaper who's just like, it's so good.
It's great. It plays heavily into gameplay. This is another thing that contradicts what I said before, because there was like a gameplay reason why you wouldn't be able to just pick up every single weapon, because weapons are individually coded for the user that is using them. So like Drebin has a gameplay reason of using credits to unlock weapons, but also it plays into the story mode. Something that Kojima does a lot is nothing can just be a gameplay mechanic. It has to be linked to the world. So like another video game would be like, as you pick up weapons, you can now purchase them at Drebin's shop. In Kojima games, it's like as you pick up weapons, you have to decode them from the hard code that is built into the weapon.
You have to launder
unlock
them.
it. Yeah, you have to mod it, and then you can use them.
And I love when you pick up an identical weapon, it'll automatically sell them and give you the Drebin points.
Yeah.
The Drebin points is such a fun system.
And you'll pick up those weapons even if you don't take those enemies out. Like if those guys get shot in the street by another guy, you can just walk over them and grab the guns. I like that. Drebin gives you a kind of a big kind of another introduction into like how the war economy works, what his job is. Drebin is basically kind of like a freelancer operating outside of the system, who's kind of selling weapons at all sides. He's a neutral party in this. He's called a green collar, which I think is a cool concept, that he's basically like someone who makes his money off of the war economy. So he's a white collar equivalent just for military.
He says he's like
complex.
one of like 800 Drebins or something.
Well, he's like 898 or something.
Something like
896 is he's Drebin 896 or whatever. All that stuff is really cool. I like that whole introduction. The big thing that he does is he does give us a shot of new nanomachines that are suppressing our nanomachines that we have in our system.
He's like, oh, I can't help you in the system because you're tied to like it's like, oh, you're on the old nanomachines. You got with the new nanomachines, son.
So here, shut him up for that.
Here's your booster shot.
That's going to come into play later as well. All this section.
I love characters that just have Kojima does this a lot. Just a catchphrase, just like the I have you.
Yeah,
So-
he does the point and stuff.
I follow along with him with the hand motions where he says, I have you. So good.
It is iconic. It's great. Throughout this whole sequence, as we're moving to meet Meryl, we come across and we get introduced to our antagonist bosses, or kind of like what's going to be our main challenges that we're going to fight throughout this whole section.
The B&B unit.
The B&B unit, the Beauty and the Beast unit.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
I have mixed feelings on these.
Uh-huh.
These are the least iconic character designs of any of the bosses in Metal Gear Solid franchise.
They're just in like black skin tight suits.
And they have like military equipment on them. But I will say I have not fought any of them except Laughing Octopus. That boss fight's great.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the boss fights make up for the fact that I am not impressed with the designs of these characters. Like, I was kind of bummed out when I saw them because I made a TikTok. It's on our TikTok, State of the Save. Go watch that. Talking about how I love the villain groups of Metal Gear Solid. This is not Foxhound. This is not Cobra Unit.
They're not going to rank. Because every time you think, who's the boss unit of Metal Gear Solid 4, you have to think and go, oh yeah, the B&B unit.
It's not that great looking, but I'm hoping the boss fights are fun. We'll see.
We'll get more. We'll talk more about that.
We'll talk more about those.
We'll talk more about the B&B unit as we go for more of the B&B unit.
Yeah, I already got some bad feelings on that. I got some weird vibes. And tell me, Michael, if I'm missing anything, but I believe the next major point here as we move in throughout the city is we meet up with Meryl. Well, actually, we meet up with Johnny first.
Oh.
Johnny sucks.
Boy.
And Johnny is the Kojima character he loves. He loves masked characters that shit themselves.
The Johnny bits in the other games were fun because they were like little side gags.
Yeah, like...
This is what happens when you make the side gag like a main character.
Yeah, because Johnny in the other games is like, he's the guard of the prison cell who gets dysentery. Or like in Metal Gear Solid 3, I think it's the same thing. He's the guard who gets dysentery. Like, you come across
He's the
Johnny,
father of and like bowel movements running his entire family. That's great. Then we're introduced to him because of like a gag with the like oil drum.
Which, yeah, you get introduced to the mechanic of the oil drum as a stealth mechanic through Johnny being inside of oil drum, shitting his brains out.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, when I saw it, I was like, I get it. Ha ha ha. Johnny always having a bad stomach problems.
We won't see him again.
But he hangs around a whole lot, and boy, does that suck. He also is one of my least favorite Kojima character designs, which is the bumbling idiot who is on the military team. Because I'm like, this guy wouldn't have made it through any of this training.
Everybody, if you have a character who everybody hates, that just makes you hate them too, and wish they weren't around. I don't understand the point of like having Johnny here.
No, he sucks.
He's going to become more relevant as we go on because of course he does. But yeah, I'm confused by it.
I don't like Johnny when we were introduced to him. The whole sequence that when we meet up with Meryl, we have this big sequence. We meet Meryl. Meryl has obviously been doing... Meryl kept the path, right? Snake left. Meryl kept going on her military career and is now leading this like UN inspection team that's inspecting the mercenary groups that are operating in the Middle East right now.
And I like the information that Meryl gives us because it is like a complete embodiment of what we know about the nanomachine system from Metal Gear Solid 1. How there was that one small bit in Metal Gear Solid 1 where you're going through the nuclear weapons disposal site. And they're like, oh, we shut off his ability to fire weapons through the nanomachines. And Snake's like, well, I guess you can just do that now, okay. And how that's like sort of like, that's one aspect of this system that's kind of like spread throughout. So like all the soldiers being monitored by like one of the Patriots AI systems and everything. So it's like how Snake was being monitored in the original Metal Gear Solid. I thought that was like a cool like expansion of that idea from the first game.
Well, it's like almost like technology is advancing.
Mm-hmm.
And Snake kind of does, he says like, oh, well, but Snake wasn't happy about when that happened. if you like, Snake was like, "What do you mean you can just shut off my abilities?"
He brushes it off, but at first he's like, "You can what?"
Yeah, it's like, "Oh yeah, that's a test phase."
He thought it was cool when he didn't have to go to the bathroom at first. He was like, "Oh, that's handy. I don't have to like worry about eating or like going to the bathroom on site. That's pretty cool."
And then, but it's when like now everybody's managed by nanomachines, and the gun is hard coded to you, and all this, that, and the other. You're suppressing the pain and the emotions of warfare. Interesting thing about this is Meryl's leading this team. Obviously, Meryl, it's the trope in a lot of video games where now she's a badass. This team is, all competent people and Johnny. This whole sequence.
I like the guy's exclamation mark mohawk.
Yeah, he's got exclamation mark mohawk.
And whenever you look at him from the back, it goes.
I like also that I like the look of this team. I think they look cool. Like I said, it goes back to like if everyone hates Johnny is an idiot, and everyone hates Johnny. So like it doesn't make me think, it's Johnny. It just makes me think, yeah, why is Johnny here? Like, and I get that like Meryl's supposed to show that she's starting to mentor somebody else, but like this is one of my least favorite Kojima tropes, which is the bubbling idiot who's like, "You dumbass, like you nearly got us all killed," and the only thing that leads is to me having a story about like, "Oops, you gotta try harder," and it's like he nearly got all you people killed because he doesn't understand that it's like light reflects off of scopes. And like it just I hate this character so bad. This whole sequence is pretty cool. This is when Snake does lie to Meryl about being there for. He's like, "Oh, I'm with the UN." He's like, he lies. She finds out that Campbell hooked us up with this. We find out that Campbell is her and Campbell are not on good terms
because he's dating someone who's young enough to be his daughter, and that doesn't sit well with Meryl.
Campbell's doing the classic divorce guy trick,
and we don't know who it is.
Some young women, classic divorce guy trick. Who done that in their life? This is my favorite part of the show where I get to reference things. But Campbell is doing, we don't know who this is, but Meryl is not happy about it, and she's not happy that Campbell put Snake in up to this.
And she's mad. It's like, you can't say no to him, can you?
Yeah, there's also like weirdly enough, there is an artist, like, Meryl was right. She's like, he shows up, he puts you in these situations, and you can't say no. You always go. You always jump. And, like, it puts Campbell in a weird light, right? Because Campbell in Metal Gear Solid 1 is, like, this heroic character, right? He's the guy fighting behind the scenes for Snake. He delays the F-16 so Snake can live and stuff, you know?
It also recontextualizes, like, Campbell in Metal Gear Solid 2. Because we only associate with Campbell with the AI voice. We only know AI Campbell. We never had a relationship with the Campbell from Metal Gear Solid 2. But apparently it's brought up in this game that Raiden did at some point. Like, he knew Campbell.
I think Raiden knew him in, like, the training process.
Before going on the mission.
If I remember correctly, like, Campbell and him have been aware of each other because Raiden had connections to him in, like, the training process. Does put a weird situation when we discover who Campbell is now married to or dating. That whole thing, basically, we get some information about where Liquid is. He's in a camp up ahead. And we get attacked by Liquid's kind of elite unit, the Frog unit, I believe they're called, the Frog unit.
I think this is like a subset of the B&B unit, because this is like where you're gunning down the all-female soldier unit. So
yeah.
You have like the elite unit of the B&B, because this confused me for years. There you have like the elite unit of the B&B, but the B&B unit also has like a legion of like female soldiers.
Yeah, and those are the ones we get attacked with here. They all like.
But he also has the Frog unit, which is here as well.
Yeah, and this is the unit that's like the quick moving. They jump around. They can hang on walls. They got submachine guns. This whole fight's pretty cool because we climb this whole structure at the beginning of the mission, dodging traps, picking up like sleep mines and stuff like that. And now we have to fight our way down. What I don't like is the pathing of the squad is not great.
No.
That sometimes they just like don't seem to move. Also, sometimes the frog unit gets like stuck in weird spots, and I found myself having to like run around and find the last one to kill. Also, your squad unit can just get killed. So like sometimes Meryl gets shot and dies. And
I did not have that.
Yeah, they can just happen. They can just
okay.
die, which kind of sucks. And we can't go all the way down to the bottom and just skip all of this because you gotta wait for Johnny to like shut off mines and stuff.
You see, that's why he's useful. He has a task that he does.
Blows himself up at one point and shoots himself.
Yeah.
I will say though, my favorite thing with Johnny is the sequence in which he pulls the gun on Snake. I hate Johnny, but the sequence when he's got the gun, he got the drop on Snake, and Snake does like, you didn't even take the safety off. And like Johnny checks, and then Snake, pulls the gun off and throws him to the ground.
You have that. Oh, I remember a moment when you spam X, where he goes, "I'm not a rookie," and it flashes back to Meryl going, "I'm not a rookie."
Yeah,
because we didn't talk about that whole bit where occasionally you'll just remember
memories,
the member berries. I remember.
You remember. I remember Shadow Moses. You remember Shadow Moses.
I remember Shadow Moses.
Hit X to remember Shadow Moses. But that is a cool sequence where he's like, Snake's cool. Because Snake's like, yeah, you didn't check. You didn't even take your safety off. And then throws him to the ground. That whole sequence is fine. Basically, we get out. We'll go into the camp to go and find Liquid in the camp. I believe this is when we do have a conversation with Campbell. And we discover that Campbell is shacking up with Rose. Which is Rose from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yep.
Raiden's girlfriend. Who always wanted to talk to us about Remember Tuesday or whatever. Long story short, we find that out. Snake is kind of like a little bit judgmental about it also. He's like, really? He's like, really, Campbell? And then my favorite thing is Campbell will eventually be like, hey, Snake, you need to have a psychiatrist on this mission. Let me introduce you to your psychiatrist. And Snake's like, did you just create a job for your girlfriend?
That's what it feels like.
It feels like a Yoko situation. Campbell is John Lennon and Rose is Yoko and Snake is Paul McCartney being like, why is she here? And Campbell's like, she's got great ideas. We finally get through the camp and we see Liquid.
The introduction of Liquid Ocelot.
It's great.
Who eats up every single second of screen time that you put on Liquid Ocelot. Brother!
Oh, it's so great.
Top 5 brother moment in this entire franchise, I think.
Oh, great. Brother! And he sounds so much like Liquid.
It's the Ocelot voice, but a lot of Liquid coming out. I don't know why it's a weird change going from 2 to this, where it was Liquid's voice actor and Ocelot's voice actor. Now it's just Ocelot's voice actor, but bringing on the Liquid bravado. And he says, "It's been too long." I love that so much.
Well, my favorite thing is, and this is something that Liquid does in Metal Gear Solid 1. Liquid he loves Theodore. He's a Theodore kid at heart. He just loves the over dramatic.
He's so he's such a drama queen, but we love it.
Drama queen. But we see the nanomachines get basically turned off by.
We thought he does something with the nanomachines, but it turns out we find out from Naomi he's just switching them off, and then all of a sudden, all the anguish that the nanomachines were repressing, all the hunger, all the upset stomach and everything, all those safety nets go away, and they all just come flushing out.
It's a cool concept because at first you're like, oh, he must have turned them all crazy. And it's like, no, he shut them off. Everybody is so hooked on these nanomachines that basically it's not actually healing any of the damage that's being done. It's just keeping you from feeling them.
It suppresses
them.
Yeah.
So every bad emotion, every bad thing that happens while you're on these nanomachines doesn't go away. So the moment you shut them off, it's like you're getting hit by every PTSD, every horrible thing you've done, every stress, every seeing your friend die. There was a game called Haze. Do you know?
I remember the cover for Haze. I passed that cover many times.
Crazy cool concept, even though it's not a good game. But Haze has this concept in which you're playing as a mercenary group that has these drugs pumped into you. And the idea is while you're playing as the mercenary group, you don't see the full event of what you happen, right? So if you shoot a guy in the head, you just see him fall over. In reality, you blew his head apart. But because the drugs keep you from actually seeing what you're doing. And then in the game, you get like de-hooked from the drugs and you realize that, oh my God, like I didn't just shoot 3 people and they fell over like rag dogs. I shot 3 people and they fell apart. Like their limbs got blown off and they begged for help. And I didn't even notice. And like it's like because the drugs suppress what's actually happening around you. It's a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
This is that. So it's kind of weird that this does the same concept. Hayes also has a big Korn. Like Jonathan Davis of Korn.
What?
Did the soundtrack on that game for some reason. I don't know.
Is it a good soundtrack?
It's Korn. So you be the judge. I ain't gonna get everybody pissed off at me.
We're not gonna disparage Korn on this show. Maybe another show, but not this show.
Listen, everybody who goes to Louder Than Life every year is gonna be real mad at me if I talk shit about Jonathan Davis. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, he just shuts them off, and everybody has a freak out. Weirdly enough, Johnny is the only one not affected by this, because I'm assuming Johnny's not had enough happen to him to actually feel. Also, he can't have his bowels have any problems; they're empty.
We'll get into that. That's fully explained.
Joy and rapture.
Don't you worry. Every question that you have will be answered ad nauseum in this thing.
Oh, joy.
So yeah,
Naomi does come down. We don't know it's Naomi. But she comes down and injects us with something that kind of stabilizes Snake. And Liquid gets away!
Interesting thing here. So, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes is canon because Naomi has a American accent now. Whereas in Metal Gear Solid 1, she had a British one. But when they did the re-record for Twin Snakes, she doesn't want to do the British accent and just does the American accent. So, Twin Snakes is the canon.
Same voice actress?
Jennifer Hale.
So Jennifer Hale did it in Metal Gear Solid 1?
Yeah, but she had a British accent. And then when she re-recorded her lines for Twin Snakes, she's like, I'm not doing a British accent again.
I know it's Jennifer Hale in this because, Jennifer Hale's great. But I didn't know she did Metal Gear Solid 1. I didn't know that was Jennifer Hale.
Yep. That was Jennifer Hale.
That woman's been putting in high quality work for so fucking long.
I know, right?
Snake gets dragged off the battlefield by Johnny. And I believe this is the end of Act 1. Correct?
That's the end of Act 1.
So we go into the mission briefing for Act 2. We're on this kind of mobile plane with Otacon and Sunny. This is where we kind of get some Sunny time. This is another weird way that they present this game because there's multiple ways you can watch the footage of Snake and Otacon talking, or you can switch to just Sunny making the eggs. But there also is Easter eggs up there. That's where you can look at more Olga's pictures on the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's it's worth flipping over there every once in a while and see what's going on.
But then you're missing plot critical information when you do that. It's a weird place to put this stuff.
It's so weird.
Some of the weird ties from this game into the previous stuff. Apparently the SOP system, the algorithm that controls the entire Sons of the Patriots system, is somehow based on Foxdie. I'm like, it's connecting human viruses to computer protocol. They did that before with this is the digital component to Foxdie. I'm like, what digital component? It's a biovirus. What are we talking about?
Foxdie is everything.
Everything is Foxdie.
Everything is Foxdie. Because Foxdie was also originally supposed to be also an enhancement kind of software. Foxdie is weird. I don't understand Foxdie.
I don't understand Foxdie.
I've played this whole...
And Foxdie changes from game to game. It's it's just supposed to take out these people. To Metal Gear Solid 2, it's well, you have it. And none of these people seem to be affected by it. To Metal Gear Solid 4 is this is world-ending stakes with you when the Fox die.
Yeah.
If it gets out, it could cause mass extinction.
It's so weird.
I don't understand.
I don't
understand Foxdie. It kind of just... Schrodinger's Foxdie. It's
Foxdie is my least favorite part of the grand story of Metal Gear. Because every time they get into the Foxdie stuff, I feel like it's overly complicated. It's my least favorite part.
Even in 1, it was just complicated enough, and then they keep adding to it.
They keep touching it.
Yeah,
it should have just been what it was in 1, in my opinion.
And it was just I guess it doesn't affect you. All they had to say, you built up an immunity to Foxdie because, but we need world-ending stakes here because this is the finale of a long running series. You need world-ending stakes. Never mind that maniacal clone is the head of a bunch of different military organizations. Now we need a bioterrorist
on top of it.
On top of it, yeah.
It's just one step too far from me. Long story short, Naomi contacts us and we get information that Naomi is in South America.
Sunny's the one to decipher that message.
Yeah, Sunny, because Sunny's like almost like a coding genius.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I like about it,
and it was not even that. It was just like, oh, if you just change the video file to an audio file, you'll find it. And Otacon's like, wow, that's crazy.
Sunny's like simple solutions.
I just changed MOV to .mp3 and it was fine.
Simple solutions, boys and girls. I mean, how many government websites have been hacked that way from just putting in like C code or something? I mean,
or copying redacted information and then pasting it into a Word document.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like that stuff happens. Yeah. Sunny's not in the wrong.
So go to Sunny's Discord for some really good government leaks.
Discord's just like scrambled egg techniques and also government secrets.
It's like zoom here and you scroll in. It's like the Pentagon.
They hit the Pentagon. I like the Sunny sings codes while she makes her eggs. She's like 18, 32, 21, 27. This is where also everybody keeps trying to stop Snake from smoking. Snake's about to die. Let Snake smoke. That's like one of my favorite like overall plot twists in all of Metal Gear is Big Boss and Snake both just like smoking, and they keep trying to stop him. Everybody's like, put that out. So we'll go into South America. The mercenary group is operating down there already, and we're going down there to try to find Naomi.
But there's a wild card thrown into the mix.
Yes.
Vamp is there.
Right off the bat, our very first introduction to what's going on there, Vamp.
Why does he look infinitely cooler in this game than he does Metal Gear Solid 2? He has swagger behind him on this.
He is so like there's a scene where he gets shot in the head by Snake, shoots him in the head, and he catches the cell phone before it falls, and he finishes his orders, and then he goes, "I'm gonna take a nap for a second," and passes out because he is got a bullet in his brain.
It's so cool,
and it's such a cool moment. And also, I love the way he comes back to life because it's not like his eyes just open. He like marionettes himself back up onto
it's like his spirit re-entering his body.
Exactly. It's like, and it's violent. Like, it's not like a slow thing. It's like all of a sudden he's like, and he's alive again.
I love that expansion. I like Metal Gear Solid 2 because in Metal Gear Solid 2, when he opened his eyes, he's like, did you miss me?
Yeah. But this, I love, Vamp is cool in this. And I love that whole sequence. That's my favorite sequence in the game so far. When Snake shoots him in the head and he like gets turned around by getting shot in the head, catches the cell phone, finishes his conversation, then puts the cell phone down and goes, I'm going to take a nap for a second, and dies. And then comes back to life on the ramp of the helicopter.
This is where we get cool. Yeah. This is also where we get a good look at like Laughing Octopus in another weird moment here where she disguises her face as Snake. So, this is the man who you want to kill, who killed all your members. Just like, what is...
the chewing scenery. Scenery. This whole gameplay sequence is pretty fun. I like this whole section. This is when I started being a lot more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped worrying about necessarily knocking people out all the time. I started using the M4 with the silencer. I got the silencer for the M4, and that's my go-to. Like, just come around a corner and go pop, 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 pop. And I also kind of feel like this makes sense in like the gameplay situation. Things have just escalated to the point Snake's probably not gonna be as non-lethal as he used to be.
This area lends itself to like playing non-lethally too, because you do have like before you get to like the compound, especially like there's like that big like area that you can like easily snipe from
the salt mines.
Yeah.
No, all of this is really just it's good stealth sections. We talked about how there's a faction system going on here, so you can like rescue. But if you watch, like they will go around and execute people. Like, I was sneaking around a corner of a building at one point, and there was a guy, one of the mercenaries was walking one of the guys up towards me. And I was like, well, damn, they're going to come by. I'm going to have to take this dude out. What am I going to do with the prisoner guy? And he stops right on the edge of the corner. and the dude goes onto his knees, and he executes him like 2 feet away from me, and turns around and walks away. And I was like, what a good like story moment. Like a snake, tucked in on the wall. I've got my knife out, ready to go. And then this guy gets like executed right on the other side of the corner. And the guy turns away to walk away. And in my game, Snake came around the corner. I went up behind him and I grabbed him and threw him to the ground and took him down. But like it's such a like that's just cool gameplay story moments that was just really really fun.
And that's what the series does best.
Oh,
is
it's so cool.
When those two things.
And like I said, I didn't feel like and the game didn't make me be on that side of the corner. The game didn't force that to happen right there just perfectly, but it did, and it felt so cool. We get to the compound area where we think Naomi's being held.
Real quick, was talking about Mei Ling, was that an optional conversation, or did you get that?
I think that is an optional. No, it's a conversation here. Yeah, Mei Ling is currently running a VR training facility on the USS Honolulu.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's running like a training facility. Which is that the training facility that trained Raiden?
I don't think that. I don't know for sure if that was the one that trained Ryan, but there was a weird implication here that she only got her position because she was sleeping around. I did not like that at all. I'm like, this is a smart and capable woman who invented like the Soliton radar technology that we see in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Like, maybe I need to go do some VR training. Snake's gonna try to go get it in.
God, I hated that so much.
Listen,
I was like, put some respect on Mei Ling's name.
I'm fine with Snake being like, let me try to go do some VR training, but I'm not okay with it being like the only reason Mei Ling got this job because she was fucking people. I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that at all.
I hated that.
That was a weird thing because like nothing about Mei Ling in the first game tells us that she's not competent.
She flirts with Snake, but everyone flirts with Snake.
Well, but like Snake's a cool dude. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, Paramedic flirts with Big Boss. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, that doesn't mean that she's like she's sleeping away to the top. Yeah, I didn't like that implication.
That was weird. I just wanted to touch on that. I forgot about that. All these games just have moments that I just forget about. Moments that I hate, my brain just deletes. And then I see them again when I have to take notes and go, oh, right. Like the name of the B&B unit is that whole encompassing thing because Octopus, Wolf, Raven, and Mantis have their own unit name, Snake Hound. It's like Foxhound, but they want to kill Snake, so they're Snake Hound.
Don't like that.
You get it? That's so stupid.
So fucking stupid.
I wrote that and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that name. Oh my God.
So bad. Oh my God.
Everything great and everything bad about this franchise is distilled into this game.
Yes.
Like as an amalgamation. Like this two-headed beast of like the coolest game you ever played and the like weirdest game you've ever played. Thrown together.
A couple of things off the bat I want to talk about this also. So there's the compound sequence. Really cool compound sequence. You're sneaking in while there's being attacked. And this gets us to finally finding Naomi. This sequence, super cool. I love the first person ability doing this sequence because it like shows how subtle Snake is when how he checks corners and stuff, but it adds so much tension because we know now Naomi's in there, and we're going to go in. We get this huge sequence where when we're even talking to Naomi, we're starting to see Laughing Octopus in the corners. She's passing windows and stuff.
Yeah,
and Snake's
like a moment.
Picking up on it, but he's not 100% sure. Like she's very quick, and so Snake's like checking his corners and stuff. This is a huge information dump because this is
where we went from like 15 to like 30 in the nanomachine count.
Yeah. Oh, it keeps coming up.
It was just like, I was like, there's not as many references to nanomachines as I thought. Then this cutscene happens. I'm like, yeah, check.
Everybody, when they see Snake, and there's a sequence I really like here, where like Snake's getting checked out. Naomi's like, I'm gonna check you out, do some medical test on you. She's like, strip down. Snake strips down, and there's this sequence where if you go into first person, you see yourself in the mirror, which is such a hard-hitting feeling, right? And like everybody, when they see Snake, are like taken back by what they're seeing because like obviously it's different than if he would have ended up like this over years. 9 years have passed, and Snake gone from a healthy kind of peak of health man.
Even less than that, because we saw him like it's been 6 years, I believe, since
2.
Since 2.
And he was healthy then.
That was like his physical prime, even at that point. Like
he was beating the crap out of everybody. It's like it's been so sudden. You realize that like, and there's this sequence where everybody has these moments where they're almost like emotional about it, and like it forces Snake to kind of also realize it. Like that sequence when he's looking at himself in the mirror. If you also look at this from a story of a man dealing with coming of age, like aging, which I think is a good way to look at it, because you throw away all the how fast he's aging, and you just look at it from a point of view of like realizing he can't do the things he used to do. Like even from a gameplay point of view, there's moments like when you're sneaking in like a downward crouch position, Snake will like, pop his back. Like there's like aches and pains. He's just not as fast as he used to be. He's just not there. And that's such a human emotion. And that sequence is so powerful to me of that looking in the mirror and seeing what's left of him. And like, it's that realization that this is coming to an end.
And having like a harsh number to it when Snake asks like how long, and she says 6 months.
Yeah. And then it's not even just 6 months though necessarily total, because like Snake's like, okay, I got 6 months, and then she's like, but in 3 months the fox die virus that's inside of you is mutating, and in 3 months it will break down to the point that it will no longer target specific individuals. It'll target everybody
with nanomachines, which is basically everybody. So,
and she's like, so in 3 months you'll become a walking carrier for basically the worst bioweapon known to man. And that's like a really rough moment, because even like Snake's like sitting there trying, there's this stress needle that you have, right? And anytime you're hit with this information, it brings up the health needle and the stress needle, and the stress needle goes like you lose
psyche. Yeah.
Because it's like you're getting hit with these deep emotional feelings. And like it's the 6 months, and then it's the hit of you only have really 3 months. And
you see that meter go down.
Yeah, and like that realization of this is coming to an end fast. And Snake's like, okay, the mission's not over. I'll deal with that when I gotta deal with it. But right now I gotta deal with this. Really powerful moment there. We get some more information about what Liquid's plan is. This is when we learn that the nanomachines are not suppressing or not being turned like crazy, that it's just the suppression of the emotions. All of this comes to an end though when, in the process of leaving, the mercenary group comes and grabs her, and we have to do the big boss fight with Laughing Octopus.
Which, fun fact, this boss fight concept was originally sketched up for Metal Gear Solid 1, but they couldn't do it with the technology. That's why Decoy Octopus got the out that he did. Was because
they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do the boss fight. It's like, we'll just kill him off.
That's kind of cool, actually. I love this boss fight.
It's so good.
Dude, it's so good. You're using all your tools. So I ain't gonna lie, I got the M60. M60 does some heavy damage, and also when you hold it down, Snake goes, ah! But this whole fight sequence where you're tracking down where she's hiding, and at first it's easy because she's just like blended into a wall, and then she's inside the CAT scan machine, then she's like hanging out of a box, and then she's a mannequin.
She's Naomi at one point for me.
At one point,
she's like a big version of the Mark II. Hey, Snake! I got that one.
She wasn't big. She was like little for me.
She was big for me, and then she like shrunk.
See, for me, the little one jumped in. Maybe I just saw it late.
Yeah, because she has like different like stages of like while she's like transforming and everything. It's so good.
It's so good. There's a point where she's like a dead body on the floor, and you use the solid eye. At least I did. Mm-hmm. To every time she laughs, it gives you like a bleep on the solid eye where she's located. So you can use that to help track down.
I found if you use like for the tricky ones, if you do night vision mode, like you can see like the areas where she's at is brighter because it's tracking like body heat.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a cool way of doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The solid eye is super cool here. You feel like you're using all your tricks to try to take her down. I love this boss fight. I think it's really, really cool. When you do take her down, this is something we need to talk about. So basically she strips out of her costume. And this is just when we get this like massive like point where she just keeps talking about, I didn't mean to laugh. Because each one of these, it's pitched that each one of the B&B unit are women who have dealt with like trauma from the war.
And
from war.
The reaction to their trauma is in their name. We got Laughing Octopus, we got Crying Wolf, we got Raging Raven, and then we got
the marionette that's like basically
Mantis. I forgot what Mantis's first part of her name is, but
all of this feels really weird. It's very like it's sexualizing someone who's dealing with immense tragedy and
the camera
violence.
I was like, my note here is we have to talk about these camera angles, don't we?
I mean, listen, I'll say this right off the bat. I'm one of these guys who like, yes, sexy people in video games is great and all, but like context matters. And
this is not the time.
This is not the time to be like, check out her ass. I'm like, no, this is like dealing with some heavy, because we find out later on that she was like a part of a village that had like rivals with another village, and people came down and they forced torture and murder like her friends and family while laughing. Like this is a horror movie thing that happened to this person, and we are having this what could be kind of like a pretty good emotional moment.
And like Drebin also tells us like while they're in their suits, what drives them to battle is getting flat. They're wired to those moments.
They're having to relive them.
It's your own personal hell inside your head, and that's what makes you a great killing machine. As a concept, that is messed up, but
it's messed up. But like I'm
so
fine.
Cool.
Listen, I'm fine with that concept. The concept is fine, but it's like it goes back to there's a time and place, and like okay, she's a sexy lady. But you can't be like this sexy lady having to relive the most tragic, horrifying thing a human being could ever do to another human being. And like, we're also going to take like 5 minutes on focusing on her titties and ass. That feels weird.
It
feels weird.
So out of place.
And then there's like a sequence, which I don't actually dislike, where basically she's continuing to walk towards you. And you're just like shooting at her as she comes towards you, fighting her off.
I do non-lethal for these.
Really?
Here.
I didn't think about that. I did lethal.
I don't think it
makes any difference.
I don't think it makes a difference.
She blows herself up, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that, because that's like almost like the zombie version of what's left of her. It's just kind of like coming at you, and you're just kind of like putting her down the best you can.
I even love like when like there's some good stuff here, like whenever like she sheds the suit and like the camo is like freaking out before it goes back to like its neutral like state and everything.
Like she's like pulling on the wires that are hooked to her, and they eventually do come off. Like all this stuff there's tons of great stuff here, but it's like I feel like
the moments that underpin it like do a complete disservice to
what is a pretty powerful story beat.
Yeah,
I don't like that. It feels like a undercutting what is a good story beat. I'm not anti like having some fun little cheesecakey moments here and there in video games. That's great, but this is not the time and the place.
Yeah,
it feels weird. It feels like you want to do two separate things at the same time, and you probably come on, levity, people.
We got 3 more of these.
Fucking great! I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I have a bad feeling what one of these is gonna be, but I'll see.
I am interested to hear hear that when we get there.
We'll see if I'm right.
Oh boy, we're not done with the B&B unit.
I'm feeling it just.
We're getting like we'll touch on it when we get there when they happen, but we have to bring it up front and talk about
you got
issues with it.
You got to. If you're gonna have critical analyzing of a video game, that means sometimes you got to talk about things that are not hitting in the right way. Whole sequence ends. We get out of there. We have a really cool sequence when we use the night vision goggles to track Naomi. as she was taken away. Basically, you're tracking her footprints.
This is when you get the call from Raiden, who you thought there's a lot of talk about Raiden throughout like this section as Snake's like talking to Rose, like, what happened to Raiden? Like, he wasn't himself and then like went off and disappeared sometime after he went to go save Sunny.
I'm gonna say this though, Rose, long history of bothering Raiden a whole fucking lot. And then Raiden being like, I'm out. And she's like, why is he like this?
You were
well, I mean,
to be fair,
I am on pro Raiden.
To be fair, that version of Rose was also an AI.
Yeah, but
that
I think it was trained off the real one. Because Raiden a lot of times was like,
machine learning.
Why don't you want to come and eat dinner with me? Well, right now I just survived a terrorist attack. But what about the dinner? I've got to go stop a nuclear robot. But you just don't care about me anymore. I'm fighting to save the world. I am like fully embraced. Raiden didn't deserve any of this.
You know what I saw in your room? Nothing. Not even you.
Because I was off fighting terrorists. You know what? Maybe this is 2026, Eric. But 2026, Eric and Raiden got some serious freaking. We have some beers.
I love that the story arc or the character growth between everybody who plays Metal Gear Solid 2 is like, I hate this stupid twink. And then everybody goes on to Metal Gear Solid 4 is like, Ryan's cool, man. Ryan's awesome.
Ryan's been through some stuff. Screw Rose. Ryan out there freaking doing the work. Ryan doing the work. He's a robot man. But Ryan teaches us how to track Naomi. We track Naomi. We find her. She's being put on a helicopter by Vamp. Snake tries to stop him.
My note here, Vamp shot needs nap.
Yeah, it's the greatest. We talked about it a bunch, but it's great.
It's so good.
As Vamp's taking off with Naomi, he does the same thing where he turns off the nanomachines as a test again. It doesn't work. Screws up Snake. Snake has to inject himself with something Naomi already gave him. And then Drebin comes and bails everybody out. Basically saves Naomi and gets Snake. We get this big sequence in which we're like manning a turret on top of the APC.
What's cool here is all your guns at this point have an unlimited ammo too. So if you want to get out with the RPG launcher and just launch it at those geckos, you can totally do that.
I should have just done that because I feel like there was a pacing issue with this APC section because I feel like it needs to be more continuous. There's a lot of times where you stop and you have to fight off the zombie soldiers and the geckos.
On hard mode,
it feels too long.
On hard mode, shooting that door takes so long.
Yeah,
I just got out with the RPG launcher and just started shooting it. If
I would have thought about the RPG launcher, I should have done that because I felt like I was shooting that door for a really long time, and I'm like, come on, I just want to. I feel like this should be a big like cinematic action sequence, but I do like how the zombie versions of the mercs basically are like climbing up it and you're like shooting them off. I had the M60 out with the unlimited ammo, so I was using the M60 to clear off the back of it and then grabbing the 50 cal and taking out the geckos. It's cool. I feel like there's a small pacing problem, but it's overall really, really cool.
I was just running all the guys on the top. I would just get out of the turret, run up and do CQC, and Snake would just like throw them off the edge, and that was
it is fun sequence.
It's fun. Yeah, you're right about pacing.
Pacing is off, I think.
Much like this whole video.
Much like this whole game.
Anyway.
Vamp does stop us. The APC gets flipped. Naomi takes off. Vamp shows up. Oh, crap. Not Vamp. The geckos. Oh, crap. We're going to get taken out. Then, do-do-do-do. Up on the rooftop, we get to see Robot Raiden. This whole sequence is awesome.
So cool!
It's so cool.
He's so cool!
It's so cool. He's chopping off legs. He's jumping on top and stabbing them. He grabs like the sensor on one of them and just spins it, which I guess makes it disorients it, and it just falls. He's catching like the little like robot like connector cords and like pulling them down by it. He's catching his sword in his feet and chopping them up. God. This whole sequence is great. Ryan's gonna do a ton of cool stuff because Snake runs away. Then Vamp shows up, and Vamp and him have a straight up awesome boss fight
that we don't play, but we just look at it.
Yeah, it's not a boss fight, but it's just cool.
Yeah.
Like Vamp, because Vamp can't die, and this is something I really like, is Vamp fights like a man who can't die. So he's like, he just tanks stuff. It doesn't really matter to him. And
Ryan's also tanking stuff, like,
because he's a cyborg.
He's Vamp is like they're both like catching blades with their feet, and at one point Vamp is just on top of him dancing on his chest.
Well, no, because he does it back to Raiden.
Yeah,
Raiden does it to
too.
him. He catches his knife in his foot, and he just starts stomping on Vamp's chest. And then Vamp comes back, knocks Raiden over, and starts stomping on his chest with like these blades in his toes.
While like doing spin,
Yeah,
like the dance moves that he's doing.
And like that's the thing too. Like Vamp doesn't like just fight; he like dances. At one point, Raiden gets like the cords of the geckos tied to him, and he starts like spinning on his head, and like he's got the geckos flying, and Vamp's like timing it, so he's doing like a dance move thing, but he's dodging the geckos as they come at him. This whole sequence. Freaking cool.
This fight is a dance.
Awesome.
It's so well choreographed. It's so cool. These are the cutscenes I don't mind being like 5-10 minutes long. I want to see more of this.
It ends with Raiden taking his sword because he got Vamp behind him and stabbing himself through his own body into Vamp and like pushing it all the way through into Vamp, and then Vamp grabs it and like starts to pull it. Oh, it's so cool.
They're
man.
like there's one-upping each other with the
amount of damage,
self-mutilation that they're doing to each other in this fight. It's so good.
And then Vamp like even says at one point, he's like, "Are you going to be the one?" He's like, "You might actually be the one."
Like, this is exciting.
Like,
this is
you might
great.
be the one to actually kill me. And like, it's kind of cool, especially because we know they have history. You know, you take Vamp down in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, Raiden's dealt with Vamp twice, right? He deals with him in the room with the hard waddle, where he's jumping out of the water and you're having to fight him in that room. And then you deal with him on the bridge, right? When you're sniping, you shoot him with a sniper rifle. So it's like Raiden and him got this long-term rivalry. And at first, Raiden's like the underdog against Vamp in Metal Gear Solid 2. Here, he's been ramped up. He's a cyborg man. And now he's like fighting Vamp like head on. And Vamp's like, I think you might actually do this. Like, and it's not like Vamp's mad about it. He's like, oh crap, you might be the one to kill me. This whole sequence, super freaking cool. We escape through the market as geckos are coming down. Like
this section on hard, I'm playing on hard mode. This section on hard mode was weirdly difficult. This like 5-second burst of gameplay where you're running through the streets, the geckos will just like trip you and like one shot you. And at this point, I had just done boss fights. I have no rations, so there's that bit. The one that I would always get stopped by one, and then the one at the very end that you have to like dive over at the right time as it's like sweeping you to get across because it's like blocking. Yeah. It would kill me. I did this section probably like 6 or 7 times just because.
I think I got killed once. Now I'm playing on like North American hard, normal. North American normal.
There's 2 normal modes in this one, and they're just make your difficulties like make sense. Here's easy. Here's normal. Here's normal again. And then here's hard. And then here's hard again. Like,
it's weird.
Yeah.
Just make it sense. Yeah, make it make sense. You get to the helicopter. Not only you get out of there, you grab Raiden, who's going into shock because he's just been stabbed through his own chest by his own sword.
Everyone gangster until they get back on the helicopter.
And he's just like, oh crap, that was so much harder. Everybody, you're like, I can't believe you did that, Raiden. And Raiden's like, I can't believe I did it either.
Starts freaking out, starts seizing up and everything.
But he seizes up in like a mechanical way because he's mostly machine.
His blood is like white, like synthetic blood.
Yeah, he's mostly machine. He's not even human at this point. As we're flying away, that's the end of chapter 2.
Liquid comes out and says like to Vamp that they need to secure the original.
Yeah,
because we know that through a different conversation that's with Raiden that Liquid, for some reason, we don't know all the details yet, needs the remains of Big Boss that were a big deal in Metal Gear Solid 1. Now they need the remains of Big Boss again. And the person who has it is someone with the code name Big Mama.
Yeah, he's got like a safe. He's got like a safekeeper, basically keeping the body of Big Boss safe. I have no clue who that is.
You have no clue. Okay, that's exciting.
I was sitting here trying to think who it could be. I don't think it's Mei Ling. I don't think it's like... The only thing it could be is somebody from Metal Gear Solid 3, maybe. I was like, maybe he's paramedic. But I don't know. I am...
Because you never made it that far.
No, this is as far as I made it in Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's so exciting.
No, now, let me finish. I saw the mission briefing and I started the next section and I did not go past that.
Okay.
So I know what the next gameplay sequence will look like, but I did not finish it.
Got it.
So no, this is all new to me now. So we're moving into, and
I'm so glad because this is where the fun begins for Metal Gear fans. Like I'm so glad that you didn't have Acts 3 and 4, which is what we're playing next time. So
yes. 3 and 4, play along.
Acts 3 and 4 for next part of the show. I'm so glad that you didn't see those because those are treats for people who have played the series. And there's some like agonizing things for if you had played the series before. So this is
I'm excited.
The best and the worst is here in this next section, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm super excited.
Buckle
about
up.
it. I think it's going to be great. I thought this section was great. It's a great way to start off the game club again. Yeah, I'm loving it. We'll do final thoughts more towards the end of this game.
Yeah,
I feel like right now we've done a good job of talking through it.
I'm holding back a lot of stuff because I don't want to give away stuff. But yeah, playing through it again is playing through this as someone who's made peace with this game, knowing exactly what it is, knowing that I get a lot of what I want from this game, but I'm also frustrated. Now I made peace with what this game is, not what I want it to be, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I stand by also the second time you play through a Metal Gear game is always better than the first. And so like I feel like in some ways I'm gonna play through this and then one day play back through it again and probably have a better time. This
is a weird one because it's my time. The first time I loved it more than the second time, and really? The third one, yeah, because of some of the more like because this is not like structured like a traditional Metal Gear game. The first time you watch it, you go, I want to see how this series wraps up and everything. The second time you want to go back and play it as a video game, and that's where it all falls apart when you want to play it as a game. This one, playing it with like an analytical context and everything, is a good way to like come back and experience it. I wish there was a full-on chapter select because there's some moments, especially in this next section, that I would want to go back and play over and over and over again. Yeah, but we'll get to those.
I'm excited because I feel like
I'm so excited for next time.
I feel like we got through the setup.
Yes.
Now we're getting into the shit.
Yeah,
like, that's what makes me excited. Stay the save on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Go check out the TikToks and the YouTube shorts because you can see me and Michael's pretty faces now as we talk about. Michael does a high quality breakdown on Metal Gear Solid 6 prep, and it's really good and really well thought out. And then I record things in the front seat of my car, talking about whatever popped into my head at the time. Go on there, like and subscribe.
And if you're here from the TikTok, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, if you're here from the TikTok, what's up?
Yeah, hey.
How you doing? But thank you guys for listening. Stay to the save. We'll be back with parts 3 and 4, chapters 3 and 4 of Metal Gear Solid 4. We'll do one more show to finish up Metal Gear Solid 4, and then we'll announce our new game.
We're back deep into the Game Club format.
We're so back. Stay safe. Stay safe out there.